So welcome everybody to this latest Macklin's Take YouTube episode. Me, Andy Clark, and Matt Macklin with you in our usual seats. And joining us today is welterweight contender who we recently saw get a big win in Gibraltar against Chris Congo. It's Mikey McKinson. Mikey, thanks very much for coming on. This is kind of the perfect week to be speaking to you, really, because on Saturday, in a couple of days' time, we've got Conor Benn up against Samuel Vargas, of course, in your division. What do you make of this match, first of all? We were talking before we came on air, and I think we would both agree that the Matchroom have done a really good job with Conor Benn. He had precious little amateur background. He's been learning on the job. They got him the right fights at the right time, I would say. It's not that he hasn't been tested. He has been on occasion. How dangerous is Vargas still, do you think?
He's always a dangerous fighter, isn't he? Do I think he causes much of a threat to Conor? No, I think Conor could probably stop him late on. He has been matched really well. I was just saying, like, if I had the matchmakers in my career that Conor Benn has, I'd be world champion by now. But you know, like, I've got a lot of respect. There's a lot of people that badmouth Conor, and even since his debut, he's had a lot of stick from all the welterweights, and you've got to give him respect because he's improved a heck of a lot. He trains very hard. He's a nice lad as well. So, and he's improving, like he's proven people wrong. So yeah, I didn't watch his fight against Formella. I've seen it back since. At the time, I was having a bit of a sulk because I never get mentioned, so I chose not to watch the fight at the time. But I don't personally think that Vargas is actually a step up from Formella. I think he deals with him in just as good fashion he dealt with Formella in. But he's just a better name and he's a better credible fighter.
Matt, what are your thoughts on this one?
I think he is a step up from Formella. I think, I know Khan had him down and whatever, but he gave Khan a test, didn't he? I know Khan's not the Khan of old, but he's been there with some good fighters. Yeah, he's lost a few. The top ones beat him, but I think he's a step up from Formella. I think they're moving him at a nice pace. I think he's come on leaps and bounds. He's someone that he didn't have. We spoke earlier about amateur pedigree in the podcast we recorded earlier and different things, but he didn't have that. He didn't have long, extensive amateur background. So this is a kid that's very much learning on the job. He's improving, I believe, every single time he fights, and it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. I think this is a nice step up from Formella. I think it's we know what we're getting with Vargas. Yeah, the top fighters beat him, but if he's not up to it, it could be a banana skin. I don't think it will be, but it's definitely, I believe, a step up from Formella. And I think they're moving him along at the right pace.
Yeah, I mean, this is a fight they've been talking about in the summer. Conor originally wasn't mad keen on fighting behind closed doors. This was back when we thought it might not be that long before crowds came back. When he realised that if he wanted to fight, it had to be behind closed doors. He was fine with it. But kind of last April, May time, around about this time of year almost, he was thinking that he would wait it out. At that point, they were thinking about Vargas. He was the name that people were kind of mentioning, and then he ended up fighting Virgil Ortiz. You've been calling Conor Benn's name for a while now, Mikey. I mean, if your paths crossed at all, actually, have you met the two of you? Have you sparred ever? Do you know each other at all?
Never sparred. He knew I wasn't. Obviously, everyone knows who he is. So 4 years ago today, I won my first title, which was the WBC Youth. And afterwards, I'm like a geek on BoxRec. I was like, oh, who in the UK could fight for a youth title at the time? And Conor's name was one of them, and he was like, I don't know how many he'd had at the time. So I jumped on that straight away. I tried calling him out. I've always done it in kind of a respectful way compared to a lot of the other fighters. And when I fought Ryan Kelly I think 2 years ago, about this time 2 years ago, I was top of the bill. I turned up to the venue. It was in Essex, and they were saying, "Oh, Conor's ringside," because Conor's brother was fighting on my undercard. He's ringside. So I left the change room straight away, went to the ringside, and I tapped him on the shoulder and that. And we had a good chat. I was not going to there to bad mouth him and stuff like that, because it was a few hours before my fight. And that's not really me anyway. I had a chat with him. He seemed like a nice, respectful lad. So that's the only really time we've met. My name gets mentioned a lot on his social media, and I can't walk up the street in Portsmouth without people going, "What about the Conor Benn fight? What about the Conor Benn fight?" Like, that's the fight everybody wants domestically, but is it likely to happen? I don't believe it is anytime soon. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that he should fight a domestic fighter? He's like seems to surpass, like trying to surpass us guys and fight these like world level fighters and stuff. Do you not think he should fight a domestic fighter?
Well, look, he's had a lot of TV exposure. He's got a big profile. He's exciting to watch. He's improving. You know, you don't want to, if you're the promoter and the manager of the TV, you don't want to burst that bubble. You don't want to throw in, you're a southpaw. You got fast hands. But your last win against Chris Congo certainly has enhanced your reputation and your profile. I think you probably need another win or two. Maybe I think the Marku one, that'd be a great fight. I think it'd get a good slot on a show. Again, if you win that and it's a good fight, your name, your reputation, your profile keeps growing. I think that somewhere down the line, if you both keep winning, then definitely it's a fight that could happen.
Yeah, compare my record to his. Mine beats him hands down all the time. Like, I'm a better fighter than him and all stuff like that, but I haven't got that profile. I know I haven't got that profile, and to get a fight like that, I need to be a big name, because that's all they're after. So,
but what you've done up to now, Mike, career, you went over to Belfast. She's like you said, you fought for nothing really. You're working 9 to 5. You're boxing as well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. What you've done in taking the Congo fight, and even the fights, 3 or 4, 5 fights before that, you were boxing undefeated guys. You're backing yourself. You're believing in yourself. Rolling the dice.
Yeah. Don't
stop now. Now that you've got to this platform, don't change that. No, the Marku fight comes, take it.
Everyone's mentioning the Marku fight, 100%. But when it comes to the Conor Benn fight, everybody, all the domestic guys, everybody wants Conor Benn, right? Everyone's saying he should fight a domestic fighter. Now, if anybody deserves the Conor Benn fight domestically, it's me by a country mile. Now, will I get it? Probably not. So I've just got to trust management team, trust the people around me. I'll fight whoever they want me to fight next. And I've got full trust in them to keep guiding my career. And I haven't got a bad word to say about Conor Benn. He's on his path and he's doing his thing. If we ever meet in the future, great, because I deserve it. But if not, good luck to him.
Well, to answer your question about whether I think Conor Benn should fight the domestic opponent or not, I think it'd be great to see him fight the domestic opponent. The fight with Chris Jenkins around about this time year, that was being talked about. I think the board might even have put those two together, and it looked like it could happen. Obviously, it didn't happen. And Conor Benn against Josh Kelly was a fight that was being built. If Josh Kelly had beaten David Avanesian, maybe for later this year, I did hear people talk about that in terms of it being on a big pay-per-view bill, that it could maybe with the profile of someone like Conor Benn even top a bill. But obviously that's fallen by the wayside, I guess. And I agree on resume. You have got the best resume of any current active British welterweight. If you take Amir Khan and Kell Brook out of that equation, you're a tricky southpaw, though, aren't you? And that that works for you in a lot of ways, but in some ways it doesn't, does it?
In the build up to that fight, people were saying, "Oh, you've got your chance on the big matchroom card now. You've wanted for so long. It could be that one step closer to the Conor Benn fight." And I said in that whole build up, once I go over to Matchroom and do a job on Chris Congo and show him how awkward and how like good of a fighter I am, they're gonna want me nowhere near Conor Benn. Because like Chris Congo, look, in boxing IQ is concerned and skill set, he's got a lot more than Conor Benn. Conor Benn's got a lot more in other areas than Chris Congo. But as like a tactical fighter, if I've gone over and beat a very tactical fighter, then they're gonna keep me well away from Conor. I knew that in the build-up, but if it ever comes, like, I'm happy. If not, I know that now I've got my sort of platform at the moment with that win with Chris Congo to build on a better future. So yeah, either way, I'm fine.
Yeah, look, your career doesn't evolve around Conor Benn or it doesn't evolve around any other individual. It evolves around you. All you've got to do is just keep busy, keep fighting. Don't be having big periods. Don't blow up in weight. You know what I mean? Live the life in between fights as well as 6 weeks out, and stay ready and just be as busy as you can. Fight as often as you can, and just keep winning. And if you keep winning, it'll come.
Yeah, I know. And it's like now I'm finally got that momentum with that win, and people are talking about me now. It's easier to stay motivated.
Okay, well, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. Both of you seem fairly convinced that Conor Benn will get the business done against Samuel Vargas on Saturday night. That's top of the bill. Savannah Marshall's in action as well against Maria Lindberg. That's been fairly hastily arranged after her original opponent, Femke Hermans, pulled out. Marshall making the first defence of her WBO middleweight title. The vacant WBA bantamweight title is on the line between Shannon Courtney and Ebony Bridges, so we could have another British world champion. We'll see Kash Farouk as well. So there's plenty on that card, plenty to get stuck into on that card. So thanks for joining us. We will see you again soon.